Hello, everybody. Welcome to this quick sniff episode. This quick sniff episode is about canine cognition and an interview I did with Jenn Cassens, who's a search and rescue canine handler up in Northern California. I like to share this episode in this interview with her because she will share her experience and point of view about cognition from the search and rescue standpoint. Many people look at canine cognition as potentially something that's just about detection, and it's not. Canine cognition is for no matter what you do. Canine cognition testing started with dogs that were used in the Canine Companions for Independence, so assistance dogs. Knowing cognition and knowing how your dog learns will actually help you become more efficient in your training and spend less time trying to problem solve things because now you actually know your dog better. So I hope you enjoy the interview, have a few takeaways about canine cognition. And of course, if you have any questions, always feel free to reach out to me. My email will be down below, and maybe we'll even come out to your area and do a canine cognition seminar there. But stay tuned for our website. We'll also have canine cognition online classes. Hope you enjoy the interview.
Hi, I'm Jenn Voigt. I'm a canine search and rescue handler for El Dorado County Search and Rescue and Nevada County Search and Rescue, and for CARDA, which is the California Rescue Dog Association. I'm from here in the Auburn area. I live in Cool, California.
How long have you been doing it?
I'm on my second dog, so I've been doing it just over 4 years.
Okay, and do you do cadaver and live find?
I do both. My first dog is cadaver and live fine. I'm just starting my second dog now, and she'll do just cadaver.
Okay. Now that you've attended the Canine Cognition Seminar, what is something that you took away from it that was something totally new to you, that was, you would say, I wasn't expecting that?
I wish I'd been able to come to this seminar on my first dog.
Yep.
And I realize now that the two dogs that I've chosen, and the first dog, I didn't know what I was doing, obviously. He's a good dog, but he's very heavy on memory. And so I've made all these mistakes, and now I can come to this seminar and look back and think, oh man, I made this mistake and this mistake and this mistake. Hopefully, going forward, he's still in service, he's still working, so it's given me a lot of tools to help him. And going forward with my new dog, who is the opposite of the first, I'll have a much better idea of what I'm doing.
Would you say, now that you know canine cognition testing, is this something that will improve your training with your dog?
I hope so.
Yeah.
I sure hope so.
Yeah.
I think so. I think I have a better idea of what I'm asking of my dog, rather than just floundering and thinking through it and thinking, okay, what should I do with this dog based on, now I actually have a guide, actually how to achieve what I'm looking for.
What was your biggest surprise about your dog throughout the testing?
She was really good at inference. I did not expect that. I thought she'd be okay. But it's been really interesting. When I first got her, she's so different from my first dog. I actually thought, wow, is she dumb? Or
yeah,
she's completely different.
Yeah.
And it took me a while to realize she's a really smart dog. She's just the opposite of my first dog. So I knew she wouldn't do well in memory, or I thought I knew.
Yeah.
I suspected. It was much more extreme than I thought it would be, though.
Okay. So now that you know your dog's stronger in inference and maybe not as strong in memory, what is something that you might change in your training now that you have this information?
I will be more careful about how I set up problems. And the same with my other dog. I'll avoid all of those mistakes I made setting up the problems, and why I'm setting it up, and exactly what I'm interested in learning or teaching my dog on that day. And what my dog's going to do. Like Nala, the dog I brought in here, as you see, she doesn't care what I'm doing. She likes me, but she does not, she doesn't interact with me. She doesn't need me around. She's all about the game. And I realize now, my first dog, I made the mistake. He's a pet. I made the mistake of he's much more about me and where I am and what I'm doing.
Yep.
And I know why that is a bad thing now. I understand it much better, much more clear way.
Would you say cognition testing shows you where there's potential conflicts in training and what you might do to maybe, like you said, avoid going a certain direction because it might do this because you see it in the test?
Yes.
Okay, and which was one of those things that you saw that clearly shows that?
The very first thing we did was pointing, and how many dogs really went, and I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, oh, my first dog, he would have absolutely went where I pointed. Absolute. I have no doubt he'd have gone exactly where I pointed. And it was really amazing to watch Nala not care at all what I'm doing, what I'm looking at, where I'm facing, and looking at that, and I'm like, I'm so excited. I'm so excited that I have a dog that is like that. I'm really happy to go forward with her training.
Yeah, for sure. Like what you're bringing up is sometimes the inadvertent aspects of training that we do may interfere with the dog's cognitive ability, or overshadow it because the conflict comes into, should I do what I was trained to do or should I do what my instinct is?
Yes.
And added to that, you brought up a good point, which was the certification aspect. Sometimes we get very focused on a certification skill, but the cognitive test shows that might inhibit what your real goal is, correct?
Yeah. I don't know. Should I?
Yeah. Well,
talk about it?
you can just talk about like one of the things that you saw in the test that when you train for certification, it causes some interference. So you kind of talked about it, but this is a little bit more specific.
Yeah. So we teach our dog a directed send out, and you don't have to point. And going forward, I think the way I'm going to do it now is I'm going to walk in that direction. But it's a directed send out. So you point and you say, check over here, check over there. And so now I realize I'm teaching my dog to rely on me on where to go, which is pretty counterproductive for a dog that you want to go to odor no matter what.
Yeah, that's the conflict. And it's helpful to see a simple little test show how powerful that gestural communication can be in that dog's ability to problem solve whatever it is that we want them to do. In this case, it's odor detection. And if they rely on our gestural communication more so, or that's more valuable to them than target odor, that becomes a mission problem.
Yep. And I've learned that. So one of the things that I have done is when my dog is struggling, I know not, you keep your belly button pointed away from the source, but we'll circle. We'll get closer. We'll get closer. We'll get closer. And we're frustrated, right? So we'll get closer. And we want our dog to be successful. And now I'm thinking, that was the worst possible decision. Good to know.
It's important to learn. This is why we do these tests.
Yeah.
So thank you for attending this seminar and thank you for doing the interview.
Thank you.
All right.